Where were you? The night 100 Thieves played their tiebreaker games for the summer split of 2018.
I was in my computer room, watching on my computer. We're a baking pin, baby. We baked them.
I told you we were coming at them like a baking pin. We rolled right over them with the tenderness of a very well-skilled housewife making apple pies, because that's how we do it in America.
Just rolled it flat, crimped it.
That's right.
Butter in the pan.
Welcome.
That's the limit of my baking knowledge. And with that, welcome.
Welcome to a very special and probably very brief episode.
Very brief. I'm doing air quotes.
Of the Den of Thieves. Yeah, very brief is a relative term. Of the Den of Thieves podcast.
I'm Jordan.
I'm Cole. And
Welcome.
We are hardened war heroes after being through what we just watched.
I felt like I just watched a 12-round heavyweight slugfest, Rock'em Sock'em Robots, and then I watched it again with a different opponent.
And it was no less dramatic the second time around, was it?
Yeah, man, that was... Whew. I mean, we talked about grit. We got that. We got grit. But those weren't easy games. Those were not easy games.
Those were not easy games. Holy cow. I was
sweating.
Despairing, maybe, would be the
Despairing.
word that I would use
Yeah.
early on there. Holy moly, that was looking a little dicey for a while.
Yeah, I think my despair index maxed out in the FlyQuest game. I was like, ooh, man.
Yeah. Well, let's run it, man. Let's not waste time. Let's talk about how this baking pin rolled so smoothly over a very... It was FlyQuest. We beat him.
A lot of rocks in that, though.
All right, draft. So, and I should mention, this will probably be a little looser on this episode because guess what? I'm so tired.
Yeah, dude. I can't imagine.
You are old, washed men like we are. It's harder to stay up this late.
Yeah, I got to go to bed like now.
Like 2 hours ago. So if we make any mistakes, we apologize, but we will do our best. Yeah. Okay, here's the draft. Someday took Gangplank. Anda took Olaf. Ryu took Zoe. Cody's son took Ezreal. Alframu took Braum. On the other side, Rumble was the counter pick that Flame took into Someday. Santorin took Lee Sin. Keen was watching the games from this past weekend and took Fizz. Wild Turtle took Varus, and JJ took Alistair.
I don't know what, like maybe he has a summoner spell that makes, but sometimes you watch Varus and you're like, oh, they've got machine gun Varus, where it's like he does one auto attack every 0.1 second. You know, he was sieging towers like it was insane. The guy was a monster.
Yeah, it was kind of scary to watch how fast he was taking those towers down.
Pew, 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 pew.
Yeah, it's like all I'm going to build is daggers, basically. He had 6 daggers. Attack speed is just off the charts. Yeah. We did not ban Fizz. How do you feel? I
felt like Ryu played. There may be two things here. I think Ryu played a lot better into this Fizz, or this Fizz played a lot less effectively against Ryu. But yeah, Ryu is like the problem that was the last time this happened wasn't there for me. Like I don't know if he got caught once with a shark. Maybe it happened, but like I think I saw him pop one.
May have stopwatched one, yeah. But the thing is, I think you're right. It's a combination of the two. I think he was a little bit more set on how he would play into it.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I don't think Keen's Fizz was quite as threatening.
I think it's probably both. He did a much better job of pushing out lane and really bullying him and even like zoning him out from the minions overall. So I think he just knew he had to play that much more aggressively, and I think he did a really good job of that. So well done, Ryu.
Well, how did you feel about the Anda pick of Olaf?
I mean, it's not a tank, but it's not an assassin either. And this is, I don't know if you caught on to like my favorite segment. It's when somebody who knows a lot about League says something similar to what we've talked about. So somebody's like, I'm not sure about Nocturne for Thieves. It doesn't really fit their play style. And I was like, yeah. So
to our listeners, we are striving so hard for legitimacy if it's not already evident by the comments we are currently making.
I mean, there's a bit of that, but it's also like it feels good when you like. I will be the first one to tell you I am still very much in learning mode for League. So I say things with everything I say basically has the asterisk there, like maybe this is completely wrong. So when someone else says it, it's like, so I wasn't completely wrong. So that was one I think. But either way, I was glad to see him not on Nocturne. Trundle, which is looking into the future, I thought he did very, very well on. So I would say tankier, Trundle than Olaf. But yeah, overall, I think I was not overly concerned. I think Olaf's got a lot more survivability.
Yeah, and he's got the unstoppable as well, which
is a
huge help. Bails you out if you get into a tight spot.
Yeah.
So the game went kind of back and forth a little bit, right? Like we opened okay.
Yeah. It was kind of weird to watch. Do you remember there were a bunch of protests not too long ago and they played some MLB games in an empty stadium?
Yeah, that's right.
This was kind of like that. There, and I didn't realize it at first, but Ryu got first blood, and it was like this.
It was the casters clapping in the background.
I think it was like the videographer, right? So that was kind of funny. But yeah, we opened well. Ryu got first blood, and it was just an outplay. He got double teamed, and then boop, I'm still here. And then we did drop a couple early deaths though. Someday and Cody-san.
Someday died probably when he shouldn't have.
Yeah, greedy.
Though at the same time, that fight was kind of close. Like we almost got a couple of kills during that fight. So it didn't quite go our way. And then I feel like the wheels started coming off of everything.
Yeah.
The biggest thing of which, and I'm sorry to say this, but I felt like Cody-san was starting to fall asleep in the middle of that game. And I mean, he actually, after the second game, they interviewed him and he said he felt really nervous during the FlyQuest game. So maybe it was just the nerves, maybe it was the yips that we've talked about. But to me, it was just, he just looked asleep.
Yeah.
I mean, that really bad recall around our turret that just totally got blown up.
Yeah. Yeah. He died a lot. I think what did he end his ending stat line? Was it 06 and 6 or was it worse?
No. He ended okay, actually.
Did he?
5, 6, and 17 is, I believe, what
whoa.
His
Cody
was. Yeah.
At one point he was 06 and 6. That's amazing.
He definitely turned it on later in the game. We'll need to go back and verify these stat lines that I've recorded on my thing. But yeah, I mean, he had at the end of the game he was doing great, but I just felt in the early game / mid game, he just was not doing well at all.
At one point, which is the last one I have, his stat line was 06 and 6. So that is not good. And obviously he recognized that.
Yeah, he kind of like was hanging out by himself in bot when Wild Turtle was just hanging out in the bush, and he got his ult off on him and deleted him again.
Yeah. Oh, he went to try to stop the recall.
Yeah,
and that didn't work.
Yeah, that didn't work either. And so if at 15 minutes, I'm showing we were down 0-2 on turrets, 2-6 on kills. They have Infernal Drake, and we are 3,000 gold behind.
Yeah.
And in the middle of this whole thing, it felt like Anda wasn't doing anything. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but did he gank in the first 15 minutes of the game?
Not that I recall.
I can't remember seeing anything like that. And it looked like there wasn't a whole bunch of coordination between Aframu and Cody.
That was a really weird game from us.
It was really weird. It felt, I think Afro got a really nice Glacial Fissure off. That had absolutely zero follow-up, and I felt like it was kill potential. So it was just strange. It just looked like we were out of sorts. Ryu was kind of hanging in there, you know, like he went down a couple times, but he took Fizz with him a couple times.
Yeah.
I think he played fine. I think he played better than the stat line actually lets on, even though, you know, maybe my stat line's wrong, but I'm showing 8, 6, and 10 for Ryu in the end. And I felt like he played better than that sounds. And then I think in the first half of the game, maybe a little bit less than that, but like it felt like Someday wasn't even really a factor.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He's doing fine in lane, but like nothing else.
I mean, we got our first turret at 28 minutes.
Yeah. I felt like I had forgotten that he was playing for a little while, which is not his typical MO.
Yep. We had both Ryu and Anda dying, trying to contest the rift. We did have Anda's first Baron steal as a member of Thieves, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
Which was awesome and ended up being a huge factor. We did have Ryu chasing afterwards and turning it much less favorable.
Uncharacteristic.
Which, again, very uncharacteristic.
Yeah.
We gave up 4 Drakes, right? And so now one of my other pet projects is kind of Drake Watch. We're giving up a lot of objectives. Like our objective control has got to be one of the worst in the last few weeks, I'd say, probably. At least on Drake's for sure. Like it is
certainly in the last couple of weeks, maybe.
Yeah.
Felt like it was a strength of ours for most of the split.
Which is why it's so weird. But I have been watching and I think the first Drake we lost, it was when Ando was up there basically saving Ryu. So, you know, you trade a kill in mid lane, preventing a kill in mid lane for a Drake. Like, you know, I'm not going to fault Anda for that. And there was actually one play. I think it was the next game, but you know, it's weird. It's weird. I just feel like we're kind of in a weird place. Like we're not hitting the notes we usually hit.
Well, there's a couple ways to look at it, I think. And one of them is this is actually possibly a return to form for us, right? Like if what we did for most of the split was drag out games and win them late.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
We're right on target.
Yeah. And be down 3K gold.
Yeah, right. Maybe that erases some of the progress that we made towards having a stronger early game or whatever. But, you know, so.
No, that's a really good point.
Who we really are? Is this a return to who we really are? Or is this a regression? It's hard to tell. But one thing, did you get to watch the match highlights? I know you probably just ran straight through the games.
Boom, blitzed them, so I did not catch it.
So one thing that was really cool to see from the match highlights from this game was around that play on Baron where Ryu jumped over the wall and blah blah blah. Right, they had team comms going back and forth between the two teams.
I love and
one of them had Aframu being super reassuring. I think it was Anda who was saying, "Oh, my bad, like I did this or whatever," and he was like, "It's okay, bro. Just tell us you're going in next time." You know, it's like very calm and composed, reassuring, like acknowledging, "Yeah, it was a mistake, but we can do this again the right way the next time." And his tone was so great. It was such like a veteran thing. So maybe that's one of the things that's working for us now is just having someone with so much experience like he does.
Yep.
There to just tell everybody it's all right.
Yep.
We got this. We know what to do.
I think you're onto the right thing. I think that's a really astute observation, which is, you know, this kind of game is actually not that weird for us, right? If you compare it to when we've been dominating this split, like either through funnel or through like the last game with Echo Fox, yeah, it's weird. But this is actually a position we've won from many times. And I think that's actually reassuring, right? That Afro is there to say, to keep things together and to keep the team together. And even when it looks like, ooh, this is not good, and our despair meter is rising, his isn't, which I think is super important. So
yeah, I mean, if I had my way, if I had like the magic wand and I could change the team,
yeah,
I would make it so that we didn't focus on the late game. Because guess what? The death timers get so long in late game that if it's your thing to do to wait and fight it out at the end like that, guess what? There's no margin for error. It's not a small margin for error. It's no margin for error.
And that's exactly what we saw yesterday. You know, both of those games ended incredibly abruptly, where we were in it and we lost the team fight. And those, I think, were weird because we lost a team fight spectacularly, which we don't typically do. But it's exactly that, right? It can be that decisive, and then they stroll down mid lane, and that's the end of the game. Right. When you wait until 35 minutes to make your move, their move can be just as decisive, and it will be. Yeah.
One other observation from the game, Ryu Zoe was hitting really, really hard.
Yeah, I felt like our damage was back this game.
Holy cow, that is a pleasure to watch.
Someday popped off too.
He did, and that was a great thing to see too, because we talked about, you know, I felt that he kind of dropped out of the MVP race. It's too bad these games didn't happen, you know, this past weekend, because he went 9-1-14.
Yeah, that's
in this
crazy game. And I do remember that stat line.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
going into what should be an unfavorable matchup in lane.
Yeah, he's the one who pushed it in our direction. So that decisive push came from him. You know, everybody helped set it up, but like he went off. I think he had a triple kill at the end there. One of the things I think Someday does really well is he knows exactly how much resource he has to play with, right? His health bar is just a resource that he uses to get those kills. So he was like skating the line. And GP is not a tanky guy. Like he just played it perfectly. Put the barrels down, chase people down. He got us there. So that was good to see.
Fantastic game from him, which, like I said, in contrast to how I felt about him during the early game, where I felt like he wasn't even in the game, he really popped off at the end. So fortunately, we squeak out the win via baking pin on on FlyQuest, and earned the second round matchup, which I was surprised to see was Echo Fox and not TSM.
Hey, before we start the next game, do you know who won the TSM FlyQuest game?
That would be TSM.
Okay. So we get I knew we got FlyQuest, so that makes sense.
Yep. Okay, so Echo Fox, the draft shook out this way. Someday was on Cho'Gath and on Trundle. Ryu with LeBlanc, which I thought was a great pick here.
Yeah.
Cody Sun on Jin, which I did not think was a great pick, and I ended up. I made a comment even like right when that draft happened. I made a comment in the Discord, in the 100 Thieves Discord, which, by the way, join it if you don't already participate in the 100 Thieves Discord. It's awesome, especially when stuff's going on. So, but yeah, I made a comment. I was like, Cody Sun on Jin. You know, I am not comfortable with this. I was wrong. Aframu on Pike. On the other side, Huni took Gnar. Dardoch on Kindred. Demonte took Akali. Tried his hand at at the new potential carry. Lost on Kaisa and Smoothie on Alistair. Good bans for us, I think.
Varus, Tom Kench, GP, Ashe, Rumble. Yeah. Let's see. I was like, look, how closely did we mirror the last team comp? Rumble and Varus, obviously, are ones we played against FlyQuest.
Yeah. But you know, I really felt good about that part of it. Like, really, Cody Sun on Jin. I mean, he did not have a good Jin game when he pulled it out this weekend, but that was the only thing I was not comfortable with. Everything else, I was like, okay, like I'll take this. And I feel like I don't usually feel that way about our drafts. Not that we draft, you know, crazy poor or anything like that, but I never feel totally like, yes, we got it.
Yeah.
But in this one, I felt pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I feel like Cho'Gath is that's a reassuring pick to me. When you give somebody that much wiggle room to play with, like when you give him somebody who can take so much abuse, chances are he's going to make the most and the best of a lot of those engagements. So personally, I feel like Yeah, you give somebody a tank and he's gonna make you pay for it.
Yeah, like he was getting 2v1 on bot. And he kind of just hung out and took the damage and started walking away. He did end up flashing. I didn't think he had to, but
yeah, playing it safe.
Yeah, he just stalled
right
while the cavalry could come in, and that was great. So,
yeah.
I felt, we just looked more comfortable in this game. I thought we were out of sorts, and weird stuff was happening in the first half of game one. And this one, we looked comfortable to me, even though it was still close.
I feel the same way. Like I had a note here, 24 minutes, we're up 10-6, 2-2 on turrets. And I said, it feels good. Then almost immediately afterwards, we lose a team fight 3-0. They get the Baron. But I had the same feeling. I was just like, yeah, this feels a lot more like what we usually see, right? We're grinding it out. We're putting the pressure on different places. We're getting favorable picks and trades. I
felt like we were punishing things with taking objectives. Like we always were reactive to whatever happened. Had a plan, for whatever they would do. So like, for instance, when they took Mountain Drake early, like we made sure to roam down and we got 2 kills off on them.
Exactly.
We put pressure on turrets in response to kills on the other side of the map, that sort of thing. I felt like we just were more, we knew what step to take depending on what they did.
Yeah, they still out-draked us, I believe. Yes, yeah, we still lost a lot of objectives on that one. But there was one Drake, I don't think it was Elder, but there's one Drake that we collapsed, basically. Both mid and bot came up to contest. They may have even got the Drake off of it, but we made them fight for it, right? Like, I think one of the things I've noticed is lately people are getting a lot of free Drakes against us. And that's kind of where I'm like, I don't know if you can put that on Anda. Like especially if it's like 3 people there, what is he going to do other than try for a suicide steal? So I thought I was really encouraged by that it's like they kind of put their foot down and they said, we gotta stop letting this happen.
Stop the bleeding a little bit.
Yeah. Like we can't play that late of a game. So I think for me, that felt like we were being a little bit less passive than we have been lately, which I was encouraged by.
Yeah, we turned it up a little bit, I would say. Ryu looked good on LeBlanc. Really did.
Really?
Got a lot of burst off on him, made it count when he went in. He did end up getting killed a couple times, like kind of early on, before first turret went down. But it didn't end up mattering that much. We had that, that play by Huni in our jungle.
The Mega Gnar double stun into the wall.
Yeah.
It's insane.
He had no business getting 1 kill, and instead he took 2. Wow, that was bad.
That was kind of like the rumble around the Baron.
Yeah.
Like after Ryu had gone in, and it was just like, oh, what is this game? He basically chased Cody off twice with the flamethrower, and the second time he actually just burned him down. But yeah, that Huni play was awesome.
Yeah. Turrets were super even on this early on. Even when we had a turret lead, our turrets were down to like no health left. We had some turret MVP action going on.
There was at least 13 HP on one, which may be the actual lowest we've seen.
Yeah, one stood up to Shelly.
Yeah. I think Someday was there to stop Shelly. Turret had like smidge.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. But so definitely a close game through the early stuff. And then we did have, I should mention Cody's awesome Drake steal. With Jin. That's one of the nice things about the range on that W for sure.
Yep, that was big.
Which was great. And Aframu was landing hooks and poles like crazy. I was very impressed by him. He looked assertive. Most of his pulls were timed very well situationally, and
yeah,
so that was cool. But Oh, go ahead. You can make your comment, and then we'll talk about the bad.
No, I was kind of going there. Finish yours.
I was just gonna bring up when we got 0-4 in a team fight.
That was my thought too.
We
got 0-4 in a team fight, and then we ended up losing our. I mean, I think it was Someday with the desperation and steal attempt with his ult, but
and I felt like it was close actually.
It was probably. I mean, of course, I'll give it to Someday. You know, I got faith in Someday. He can make anything close. Like, yeah, 1v5ing into a Baron pit. Odds are not good, but some days odds are good.
Days, so don't count them out.
Exactly.
Here's the deal, though. So, like I said, we had a plan for whatever happened, and when they took Baron on us, we made them pay for it, right? So we get 2 kills during that Baron buff, and we shoved everything right into their base.
Off an Afro hook, by the way.
Yeah, yep, good point. So, at that point, we had something like, I think that we were down 5K gold, and it still felt even to me.
Yeah.
It still felt like, all right, this is an even game, which, needless to say, is a little unusual.
Like that's where I was going. We got aced on a Baron. They left with Baron. We didn't kill anybody. I think there would have been a lot of teams that would have folded at that point. So like, 4th place ain't bad. But we hung on.
But we did have some things go in our favor in a similar way to how things went in our favor against FlyQuest. Or I'm sorry, how some of the things went against us in FlyQuest early on. When I was saying, we almost got 2 kills, didn't go our way, Someday dies. Like that kind of thing happened a couple times in that game. In this game, that team fight towards the end where Lost dove onto Cody's son.
And he left with 13 HP.
I don't know how in the world Cody's son survived that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if Cody's son goes down there, that is a very different result.
Yeah.
To the whole situation. And maybe could have been game even. That could, when your damage is gone, that's a thing, right? So.
Yeah. It was close.
It was close. It was close. And we were rewarded for all of our strife sufferings as we watched these games on the edge of our seats with the pentakill.
Yes.
So Cody just stat farming at the end, I guess, right?
Well, that's
I'm not going to finish 3-2-8. I'm going to finish 8-2-8.
But that's the other side of this coin, right? Like you get aced, they get Baron. Cody has probably the worst game of the split that he's had. I mean, if his stat line finished what it is, maybe not, but he was certainly at one point that was like the lowest point for him, I would say. So yeah, to come back and have a penta, like there's a lot of bounce back on the team. There's a lot of resiliency. They've got a short memory when it comes to a lot of these games, which is super important. And we'll need that in the best of 5s.
Right. And this is one of the things that we mentioned yesterday on the pod, that we would have to wait and see how they mentally responded to this, what Probably did to reset their minds, what Afro did to reset their minds. And while it's not this overwhelming domination win, I mean, we squeaked both of these out. Make no mistake. We still had the grit to hang in there, to be composed, and to pull it off in the end. I think we were very lucky today. Luck was on our side. But at the same time, we couldn't have even been in a position to capitalize on the luck if we weren't able to do something mentally to make ourselves feel better. And Cody's son in that post game saying, I just had to, play looser and relax. Maybe that's just the key. He certainly ended that game well, and it could have been a lot worse. We could have come out of this situation a lot worse.
Yeah, and going back to a champion that he had a bad game on previously, there's some luck in every game. It would have been way easier to lose these games. It would have been way easier for us to just kind of roll over and say, it's not going our way. We just got aced. Let's turtle up and try to defend. But instead we smash down mid lane, get 2 kills, and turn the thing on its head. So,
and I don't think we should understate that, because the fact of the matter is this is a 4-way tie for 3rd through 6th, and this is a 16 playoff, which means that you're going to turn around and play these same teams no matter how it shakes out, right?
Yeah.
So you could just say, well, this doesn't really matter because it doesn't materially change what's going to happen after this. It's just kind of a mental thing, I guess, if you want to say we finished 3rd instead of 6th.
Right.
Because we squeaked out 2 wins, whatever. We're still playing FlyQuest again this weekend. So it's easy to kind of just let it go by the wayside. So I'm proud of how they responded there. So let's talk about that playoff picture then. So yeah, as we mentioned, Echo Fox will play TSM on Saturday, and then on Sunday we'll turn around and play FlyQuest, and now we're on best of 5s. In terms of the bracket at large, so they mentioned something on the broadcast that I wasn't aware of, and that they've changed kind of the seeding when it comes to the semifinals, right? So Team Liquid and C9, when teams advance out of the quarters to out of these games this weekend, Team Liquid will basically choose who they want to play.
Yeah,
out of those 2 winners. So
they're gonna choose us.
Yeah, right. You figure they're gonna choose us if we make it out.
It's not a rivalry, but they're gonna choose us.
Yeah. I would say that we probably look vulnerable to them. I do think it's Team Liquid C9 and then the rest of everybody. I mean, not that we're not capable of getting hot at the right time, because we are.
Yeah.
But
I think if we and TSM make it out, I think they're going to choose us because they probably think we're an easier target. But I do think there is something about that matchup for them, right? Like, I think if you want to go into the finals with swagger, you beat the people who you beat in the finals last year in the semis, right? Like, that's how you get momentum.
Sure.
They try that. I don't know. We'll talk about how that works out. But
yeah, not to mention you want to take every advantage you can get in the matchup, right? And if you have some mental edge over a team because you've owned them in the last few games, like, why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
So this kind of begs the question, do you think that we are going to do better in best of 5s? Like, do we stay the same in terms of how likely we are to win a matchup, or do we get worse or better? What's your take?
I think we do better in best of 5s, with the one consideration being our best of 5 against Liquid. But I think our overall play style of grinding it out is so hard to beat us, even if you have basically beaten us in a game, that I think in a 5-game series, we're gonna squeak out some of those games, right? So I think that the way we play, the position we put ourselves in, I think that favors us versus somebody who just smashes early. Because then if you can weather that storm, the odds are in your favor. With us, unless you smash us early, I think we will have that advantage. And it's hard to do that. People don't do that against us typically.
Yeah, I think it's obviously harder to keep surprising teams in best of 5. So, like if you pull out some weird pocket pick, or if you pull out, say, a Quinn on bot against us, it's going to surprise us for one game, right? Yeah. So you better have 3 surprises lined up.
Right, which is not easy to do. If it was easy, people would do it all the time, right?
Yeah. And actually, someone in the YouTube chat, Jonathan, just pointed out, he says, I think besides Cody, everyone has shown deep champion pools. And I think that's pretty true. And that's another good way of spinning this conversation is, since we do have deep champion pools, we could be pretty adaptive to whatever's going on in these games. The trick is that, to get a win in one of those first 2 games, because what you don't want to do is go down 0-2.
No.
As long as we can pick off one of those first wins, I think we have a legitimate chance to beat pretty much everybody.
And I think we have just as much ability to surprise people as they do us. So I think there are things we could pull out that would be, I think we're a hard team to prepare for, because you've got to have, right? It's like, well, what if Sunday starts going off? What are we going to do then? We got to bring Jungler up there to try to keep him down. And well, then I think Anda has shown he's a really strong counter jungler. Like he is that dude is a certified chicken thief. He's always in there getting the jungle camps.
Yeah, he's done well.
So like if you let him play his game, I think he'll punish you. And you know, Afro is capable of going off anytime, setting up plays. So I'm
a little more measured on my take with Anda. I still think he's solid, and I'm a good piece of the team.
I don't think he's going to blow it up for us, but I do think if you camp top lane, he's going to make you pay.
Yeah, well, and here's the other implication of the comment that Jonathan made in the chat about Cody's champion pool is I do think that what we're going to see is teams targeting Cody. Mm-hmm. If there is a weakness to be found, it's either in Anda's tournament inexperience or Cody's champion pool. And, obviously the champion pool is targetable. And so we'll probably see the same bans come out, like, the Aatrox ban or whatever. We'll see that. But I think some of the strategy in the game is going to kind of be tooled around taking advantage of there. So the challenge will be for Cody to make sure he's in the right mental space, and for Afro to make sure he can like play true support to him and keep him in that game.
And I think for that reason, Rakan is a permanent ban against this squad right now, because you get 2 bans for the price of 1, basically. Like, I think Afro is good enough on Rakan to play him without Xayah. Cody's not good enough on Xayah to play without Rakan. So I think we say that every time. And I think Cody's best on Xayah. So I think if somebody doesn't ban that, we'll make him pay for sure in bot lane. But I think I would expect to see that too. Now, interestingly, we don't see a lot of other marksman bans, right?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's like the other thing is the bans against us have been fairly predictable for the second half of this split. So maybe that's also an advantage, is knowing kind of what we can expect in the majority of our games. So we may see surprising bans or something like that come out. I'm not sure, but
like going back, just real quick, going all the way back to TSM, we've had Rakan, Lucian, and Rakan. Lucian is the only ad carry we've seen banned since TSM. Rakan's been banned every time. So,
yeah.
But I think if they were to start pushing that button, it would be really interesting to see what happens.
Yep.
And I think we have a shallower champion pool in that position. So,
yep. Well, let's update our predictions then, because now we know what the bracket looks like. So first round, do you think we get out of our matchup against FlyQuest?
Oh yeah.
I think if we just need to control Wild Turtle and we're good there.
Let's not sell FlyQuest short. That is a good team.
Yeah, they're a good team. We're better.
Not posers. We're better, and I think we'll win. But they're not the second to last place team in the league. Like, they're good. And Turtle's very good. But I think we'll get him.
Yeah, he's good. We just need to focus him down. Do you see TSM or Echo Fox coming out of that side of the bracket?
I think Echo Fox. I don't think TSM has a 5-game series in them. I think they're too inconsistent.
Ooh, that's tough. I kind of think TSM's going to get out of there. Well, we're going to see, but like I think TSM has showed some strength. I was really shocked at their first round loss. I really was. So,
how'd that game go? Did you see the highlights or anything?
I didn't actually see it.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
It sounds like
it was kind of a foregone conclusion. I thought that they were going to advance out of there. So,
so it's Echo Fox. Yeah, it's a rematch. And I think I heard in the broadcast that Echo Fox smash. If anybody knows in the comments, feel free to let us know. But yeah, I think Echo Fox is one of those teams where you don't really know what you're going to get. I think if they show up, they'll win. Sometimes I feel like they lose focus, and I don't really follow them that closely, but like they pull out weird stuff that just doesn't work.
Yeah. And the other thing is I think there's tremendous carry potential on the side of TSM. And in the comments, by the way, they're saying, yeah, Echo Fox won in 25 minutes or so. So it was a roll It was a baking pin, a true baking pin.
The baking
for
pin.
Echo Fox over TSM, but I can't see that happening for 3 out of 5 of the next games. So
Fair.
I'm going to take TSM out of there. So that puts Team Liquid in a position where they're, do they choose us or do they choose one of those two?
And for me, I think over us or Echo Fox, I think they'll pick us.
And I want them to pick us. I think we have.
I want to play them. Yeah, me too.
We have a lot to gain, and beating them in the semis would be great for the reasons that I talked about yesterday, where I don't want to lose to Team Liquid in the finals again.
Yeah,
and at the same time, who wants to play C9 right now? So I'm hoping they pick us, and I think they would. So
that's the other way to think about it. You could look at us and say, we want to beat down 100 Thieves some more. Send them to Cloud9.
Yeah. Do we get past Team Liquid in a best of 5?
I don't think we're there yet.
I don't think we're there yet either. So nothing we saw today in our close wins changed how we felt about our overall predictions. It's going to be real tough. It's going to be real tough. And I do not look forward to seeing the trash talk from Double Lift.
Before and after the games.
Actually, I like that overall. I think there needs to be some spiciness in the league. It makes it more interesting, but
Do you think we will take a game off them?
Yes. We're not going to get 3-0'd.
Okay.
It's not going to be a sweep.
Yep. I think I'll agree with you. I think we'll take a game.
All right. So we lose 3-1.
Yep.
Liquid. Well, here's to hoping that this upcoming weekend goes well, that we can pull the baking pin out on FlyQuest. And then if Team Liquid is feeling bold and brave and picks us, then we have something special for them.
Yeah, there it is. You've called out Double Lift, who is the player coach for Team Liquid. Pick us.
Yeah.
Good.
All right. Well, let's just go ahead and remind everybody that the jersey giveaway still going. Now you know how to enter, so please engage with all of those various ways to earn entries, and we will randomly select from there.
You can put it in the description of this video too.
Yeah, please spread the word about the giveaway. We want to do something cool for people who listen, and we want more listeners too, which is why we're doing that also. So help us out. And for those of you who are listening already, we appreciate it. Love seeing the live chat going while we do this, and look forward to finding ways to incorporate that more into the show. So
sure.
Until next week, when we find out how first round of playoffs go, we will bid you adieu.
Looking forward to the big W.
That's right. I'm looking forward to tweeting out the 100 win hashtag. So
me as well.
Let's do this, fellas.
All right, let's get a win.
Bring the baking pin.
Bring on Team Liquid.
All right. Take care, everyone. We'll see you this weekend.
See ya.